Welcome back to Big Sky Buckets. I'm Big Sky, and today we're going to talk about the knockout stage games from last night's in-season tournament, my thoughts on them, and then really talking about two teams that I think concerns have arisen for. The two losers, basically. But before we get into it, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Every subscription would mean a lot to me as I get this thing up and going. I'm putting a lot more effort in trying to editing better, trying to make better content for you guys to enjoy. So it'd really mean a lot. Give it a like, comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. If you're an audio-only listener, give it a rate, give it a listen. Let's get into it. So Bucks won 146 to 122. Terrible game, especially in the second half. The first half was actually very fun. Bucks trending upwards. They're going to move up in my power rankings. They deserve a lot of credit. Offense has been phenomenal for them. Top 5 in the league right now. And really, I don't want to talk too much about them. It's just Dame is starting to figure it out with the team that they have. And the shooting from the role players has been great. Giannis playing great. There's not too much to talk about the Bucks, in my opinion, on this one. They're looking like the contender they should be. It's really about the Knicks here. And really, Julius Randle couldn't have played a better game if he tried. He had 40-something points. He didn't miss a single shot in the first half when it was a 3-point game going in half. And then he only missed 5 shots in the second half. And everyone else really struggled here. Jalen Brunson had 24 points, but he didn't make a single three. RJ struggled a little bit. He's probably a little bit better than his stats indicate, but not by too much, in my opinion. Grimes had a rough one, not defensively, it's just offensively, and he's even talked about his frustrations with his role currently, which is rough because he says it feels like he's on a leash with Tom Thibodeau, that if he misses a shot, he's going to get pulled, which is not great for his confidence. And then really here, like, one of my biggest issues, if we're going to talk about the actual stuff that happened in this game, I don't know what the hell Tom Thibodeau was thinking he basically neutralized one of the best rebounders in the game, especially offensively, in Mitchell Robinson by defensively putting him on Brook Lopez instead of Giannis, because Brook will stretch you out. And so Mitch can't get as many rebounds because he's way over by Brook, either in the corner, at the top of the key, on the wings, on the perimeter. It's just he's not a perimeter defender. He's a rim protector and a rebounder. Even if it came at the cost of more fouls on Mitchell Robinson, I think that Julius Randle should have been on Brook and Mitchell on Giannis for obvious reasons. But the main thing here is that even Julius Randle didn't do a great job defensively against Giannis. It's hard to. It's hard to. He's one of the best players. But if Mitchell Robinson is best at blocking shots by the rim, then you should, even if it comes at the cost of something, you need to put Mitchell Robinson near the rim where he does his best work. And that's where Giannis does his best work. So that's a little thing that I think Tom Thibodeau, because this is a team that the Knicks inevitably could face in the playoffs. And this is a bad match for the Knicks as currently constructed. I think that might be helpful because running drop coverage on a team now that shoots way more threes than they have ever, honestly, is not great. It's tough. They're trying to figure out, it was kind of like the Halliburton and Pacers thing in the second half, or the night before, where the Boston Celtics defense was confused on where it should prioritize their major defense, on the perimeter when Tyrese Halliburton is just on fire, or everyone else who's getting to the rim. And that's kind of, it's flip-flopped. Everyone else on the Bucks are going to get their points from the perimeter, as what happened last night. And Giannis is going to get his points in the paint. Who do you prioritize? And I think they were trying to prioritize Giannis last night, and that even didn't pan out itself. The drop coverage here needs to change based on matchups. I think for the most part, this is a good scheme. That's why they're one of the best defensive teams in the league, but that needs to change. And then the other thing here is that this now marks, like, I want to say the 4th time they played like a genuine contender in the East, where they lost again. And it looks now like there's starting to be a gap between the top teams in the East and the Knicks. It's not as big, but it's presented itself, it's bared its fangs to at least me of, if before it was a question of should they be buyers, it is now an inevitability to me, because unless this team wants to be the same and hopefully make it to the second round and then get bounced, they need to make a change. They need another all-star caliber player. I know that the front office for the Knicks have said they're looking for an MVP caliber player. I think you lower the bar just a little bit so that you can be competitive and finally be a contender, because in a playoff setting like this and you get blown out and you actually play garbage time, the only team that's done it in the knockout stage so far, that is concerning. And that shows me that maybe you aren't on that level currently. And so, time to make a change. It's time to buy in and go for another all-star wing that gives you high-level shot creation from 3 mid-range to the rack, whatever. Not DeMar DeRozan. You need to at least be able to shoot threes and then hopefully play some defense. Shooting guard, small forward, they need that. That's my big concern with the Knicks, and now we're going to move on. Suns-Lakers controversy. Ref called a timeout for the Lakers when they did not have control of the ball. Near the very end of this game, it was a 106-103 Lakers win. Lakers did a good job having an offensive scheme of attacking Yusuf Nurkic, putting him in foul trouble, and defensive scheme of absolutely blitzing Kevin Durant and Devin Booker every time they touched the ball. Shout out to them. That was great schemes. And it paid off at the end. But that is the concern now. The concern is, ironically, literally the exact scheme that the Lakers used feels very much like an exploitable scheme that any team in the West could use. Which is quite literally, with the 2 major things here that lead to this concern is, A, the roster construction of the Suns is built around the fact that stars have said it themselves. They can't guard all 3 of Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, and Kevin Durant at the same time. Problem is they don't play at the same time. And the major concern to me is that Bradley Beal's back injury feels way more serious than I thought before. I thought, okay, there's sore back pains, whatever. The back is such an important part of the human body. ACLs, Achilles, knee injuries, back injuries. Those are like the 4 or the most impactful injuries that it can have on a basketball player, because lower body, back, these are all things that collectively add to an athlete in the basketball setting. And if one of those is injured, ankle, foot, feet as well, those boys can't play. If you have an injured wrist, you could probably shoot one hand or whatever. You still probably wouldn't want to play. But those injuries heal much quicker than the rest, other than like ankle injuries. But feet injuries, knee injuries, and back injuries, these are bad injuries to have. And if he's been out for as long as he has, and I haven't seen a timetable of him returning, that is a genuine concern for the offensive philosophy of this team. Defensively, if the Lakers could figure it out now, every team that makes the playoffs will figure out the fact that Yusuf Nurkic is not a defensive anchor. Drew Eubanks isn't a defensive anchor. Bol is not a good player, so he's not going to get minutes at all. If that's your center rotation, it's quite literally attack the center, make them foul out, and then who's going to stop you from getting to the rim? This is a major concern. And unlike the Knicks, who have draft capital and young players, whether they're frustrated or not, have the ability to make a big-time trade. The Suns are in the exact opposite position. They don't have a lot of young talent. They don't have like any tradable draft capital. And they need a defensive center, even if it's a role-playing defensive center. What do they do? I'm actually at a loss, because when I came in here, I was like, okay, I'll figure it out as I go. Watching it, I'll figure it out as I record this. I genuinely am concerned for the Suns, because the major thing that would break this all, like, the easy answer is that Bradley Beal comes back and he plays at the level that he can play. But I'm concerned that's not going to happen. You can't trade him because of no trade clause. No one's going to pick him up because of his contract. And I don't even need to talk about all that. He has a no trade clause. He wants to be in Phoenix. He's going to be in Phoenix. Not going to trade Kevin Durant. He's too important. Not going to trade Devin Booker. He's too important. Who else could you feasibly trade that has value? You could try and push for Yusuf Nurkic, but I don't know about that. You could trade role players, but again, who's going to give? Which one of these role players is going to equate to a role-playing defensive center? Because there's not terribly too many in the league anymore. This is just something to monitor, and it's something to think about for Phoenix Suns fans, Phoenix Suns championship aspirations. There's some big alarms going off, in my opinion, on this team. Again, they did as good as of a job as they could in terms of roster construction, really big concerns. But again, huge win for the Lakers, 106 to 103. Anthony Davis had a great start of this game, had a rough go at the end, and they still managed to pull out a win. LeBron James looking great. Referees kind of ruined this game, but I still don't think the Suns would have actually won. They probably could have taken it to overtime, but the Lakers had a phenomenal scheme. And the major thing offensively for the Suns is like you rely so heavily on the jump shooting from Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, like elite shot making, that if they don't have it that night, I don't even know it. You're putting all your chips on the role players like Grayson Allen and Eric Gordon. That's overly concerning for me for playoff time. But this is a team that we're going to come back to. They need Bradley Beal back, personally. They need to have him back. They need the three to play, and they need to create some scheme. But I'm concerned that the Bradley Beal injury is actually way worse than originally anticipated. But that's all I got for you guys today. So thank you guys so much for watching, listening. Subscribe, like, comment, rate, listen, all of that good stuff. And I will see you guys probably tomorrow. We'll figure something. We'll talk about something. I have a couple of ideas in mind, but we'll figure it out. Peace.